Welcome to part 312 of our lecture on the axial skeleton. I promise this is the last one. I really do. So, what did you guys get for special about the cervical vertebrae? Small transverse foramen, so small transverse foramen, and short bifid spinous process. What about the thoracic vertebrae? So transverse facets for rib attachment, demifacets for rib attachments, long pointy processes, and the superior articulating facet looks like giraffe ears. Will not write that down. What about the lumbar ones? I wrote it down here. The superior articulating facet points medially, or is angled medially. A big body and short snobby processes. Okay, what about the Atlas, the titan who holds up the sky, not the world? So, it ain't got no body. Don't tell the English teachers I said that. Deep superior articulating facet for the occipital condyles and no spinous process. The Atlas or axis has the dend. So the axis has the dend. So how many of each vertebrae do you have? Well, if this was a face-to-face class, I'd have breakfast at 7. I would have lunch at 12. I would be starving at 5. And I would then have my midnight snack at 8 o'clock. So again, you need to know these numbers. So I like these kinds of questions for the tests. You'll see at least 2 or 3 of them on each test. So where do ribs like to attach? Well, they like to attach to demifacets. And they like to attach to the transverse facet. Therefore, anything with 3 and 4 are wrong. This has 3, this has 4. This has 3. This has 4. Wow! My choice is 1 and 2. You could also just go and look for 1 and 2, I guess. So, I now have 40 minutes to talk about the sternum. So, we're now going to talk about the sternum. It's in the middle of your thoracic wall. It makes the sternal region. And it's actually 3 bones that fuse. You have the mammary there. This is either the body or the gladiolus, and then the xiphoid process. So I can't fit this so it's a north-south direction. This right here is superior, this is inferior over here. So this right here is the mammary. It is going to actually form a joint right up here with the clavicle, and it attaches rib number 1, or attaches the cartilage for rib number 1. There's an angle right here, and that fuses around 40 years of age. And then this is the body. Its other name is gladiolus because it looks like a short gladiator sword. So they called this the gladiolus. Or maybe it's where they tried to put the sword through. Then this part right here is the xiphoid or xiphoid process. I've heard a couple different pronunciations. I just like it because it's a word that actually starts with the letter X. So the xiphoid process. We have the body or gladiolus, and we have the mammary. Now notice, we have cartilage attachment for rib 1, rib 2, and so forth, until we get down here. See all of these cartilage attachments? These cartilage attachments get their own rib. If we look way down here, way down here, we are going to have all of this cartilage right here is going to merge together to form one bit of attachment. So what we're going to learn in the next page is ribs 1 through 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and actually 7. I disagree with that, but the textbook is always right. Get their own cartilage attachment. So this is rib 7's cartilage attachment. Then these last 3 right here, 8, 9, and 10, they share an attachment. So the ribs that are attached here are called true ribs. These are fake ribs. And I don't have a real skeleton in my closet to show you at home, so I'm showing you on the sternum. So you have 12 pairs of ribs, or 24 ribs in total. Gone ad nauseum how it attaches to the thoracic vertebrae, so I won't talk about that. We'll talk about how it attaches to the sternum. Now, what happens is these red ones, the first 7, get their own cartilage attachment to the sternum. So they're called true ribs. I double check it every time. Rib 7 is a true rib. They get their own costal cartilage. Now, false ribs. A false rib is either going to share its attachment. So these 3 ribs right there are going to share their attachment, 8, 9, 10. Or, like these 2, they lack an attachment at all. So the false ribs are 8 through 12. 8, 9, and 10 all share an attachment, so it'd be these last 3 down here. Then 11 and 12 are floating ribs. They do not articulate it with anything. So when I first started to get into running, I had a doctor's appointment like a month later, and I'm like, I'm running, but I think I'm hurting my kidneys. And the doctor's like, where are you hurting? And I'm pointing to my floating rib. He's like, is your kidney there, or is that a floating rib? I'm like, oh, it's a floating rib. Moral of the story, run with proper posture, and your false ribs don't hurt. So the rib articulation is going to articulate with the demifacets and the transverse process. Now, we're not going to worry about how. I mean, this is part like 29,000 of this lecture, but basically the demifacets get their name demifacet because half of the head is on each one. So for rib 6, half of the head would be on the inferior surface of T5, and half of it would be on the superior surface of T6. We're not going to worry about that. Basically, what I want you to know is the head attaches here, and the transverse process of the thoracic vertebrae. Now, apparently, I forgot the parts of the rib. This is the head of the rib. This is the tubercle of the rib. This is the neck. Those are the parts of the rib. Thank you for watching all 5,283 parts of this. Good news is it's not on the test in 5 days. And take a break, drink some coffee, drink some tea, run a marathon, get your head fresh, and I will see you in lab. Thank you.